my unpopular opinion is we need to be better to mothers. Like, mothers are just going through a lot, generally. Even older mothers. Now I'm going to make this long. I was talking to my mom yesterday. She sent me some food from Nyamira. Yeah, from her farm. And she said, like, I'm her last born and I'm 37. And she said, I feel so proud anytime I'm able to send you guys food because you're my children. And I'm like, motherhood doesn't stop.
It doesn't
because
stop.
Your children have means.
Yes.
It's like my mother is somewhere thinking, what will my child eat today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's be kind to mothers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
To strange mothers, to your mothers, to friend mothers, to all mothers.
It's the politics of motherhood.
Welcome to the politics of motherhood.
Because everyone has an opinion
about
motherhood.
I'm Lynette.
I'm Washuka.
And hi, Washuka.
Hi, Lynette.
How have you been?
Good, and you?
Good. It's so nice to see you.
Same.
I always look forward to recording
Me
day.
too.
It's
like amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Best job
Washuka,
ever.
right? I love it. It's the Christmas season.
Yes.
It's December.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And I was thinking about this and I think in the last episode we talked about, like, one of my big wins was kids decorating the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Very early in November, but it's Christmas. What's your best memory growing up? Christmas.
So
or even now, as a mom.
Yeah. So when we were growing up, all the Christmases actually we used to go to my grandmother's her place. Mm-hmm. And I remember every time on 25th of December, all the cousins would be called to church. So we used to go to church, yeah? So all the cousins used to be called so that you can sing Christmas carols. Like, it was a thing. We used to practice.
That is so cool.
The entire time we're at home. It's because, on Sunday after Mass, it would be us guys singing.
Yeah.
So that was... At that time, it was a lot. It was annoying, but afterwards, right now, it's such a core memory. Like, the way we used to sing the carols, and everyone just knew my grandmother's grandbabies were it.
Oh,
church.
That is so cool.
Yeah, what's yours?
My favorite Christmas memory growing up is I'm the last one. And every 24th, so on Christmas Eve, we would go shopping for Christmas. And I used to be called the finance minister.
Really?
So yes, every 23rd night, I'd come up with a budget and, like, the things we're going to buy, the balloons, the sodas, the ingredients for the, like, different foods we're going to cook. And I would then formally present it to the president, His Highness, our father, and he would go through, like, it was a thing.
Yeah.
So we would all gather around and I would present it and he would look at it and, like, we were all very serious. Luckily, he didn't cut too many things off the budgets, but that was the moment whenever someone wanted something, you'd slip it in. And then he would give us the money for shopping for the 24th. And on the 24th, we would go and, like, buy all these things that we wanted and, like, do everything in readiness for the 25th. So so I miss that.
So how old were you doing budgets?
All the way from primary school to high school. Yeah. So even now, when I'm married now, we go to my husband's place for Christmas. But whenever we go to my parents for Christmas, everyone still goes like, finance minister, what's the budget? And I'm like, I can finance it this time. I could buy you all.
Baller, boss lady.
And that's me. So like all the way from primary school, every year, I was the finance minister and I would do budgets for Christmas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So now in my household, what I practice, around Christmas Eve, I buy like different things for the nannies, for our security guards in the estate and stuff. So like I enjoy doing that, and now I do it with the kids because they understand. Like we write a budget and like, oh, we're gonna get so and so this, we're gonna go get so and so that. We go shopping. Luckily, like supermarkets have bundles and stuff, and you buy that, and just keeping the tradition going.
Wow, that's nice.
Yes.
And because it aligns with the theme of Christmas, which is giving.
Exactly.
And making people joyful. That's really nice.
So finance minister forever. Yeah, great. So, what are we talking about today, Washuka?
Friendship.
Oh, friends.
Yeah.
How's that been? Are you a friendly person?
I tend to believe I am.
Okay.
But I've been told I have a face. that's intimidating. So people are usually scared to approach me.
But what is there someone who, is it about your face or is it about their personality? Because you could have a friendly face, but there's someone who's not, who doesn't, generally their demeanor is not to approach people to say hello. So I'm always conflicted about that. Is it that you don't look approachable, or is that the approachee does not have approaching features?
Well, feedback is that I look unapproachable.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing is I won't be the first person to approach someone. Yeah, that's why I struggle a lot with networking. I'm just like, I usually have to, when I'm going for a networking event, I usually have to take a different persona. Like literally, and I'm like, it's go time, switch up. You can't be your normal self who's not approaching people.
Can't have that face.
Yes, can't have that face. Fix it. Yeah. So yeah, that's the feedback I've got. Even my husband has told me that I look unapproachable. I'm like, okay, you're probably
I
right
mean,
then.
he's the wrong person to say that because exhibits X.
Yeah.
You know, he's with you. So I mean, how did he approach you?
Sorry for another day. So have you experienced friendship breakups?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I mean, and it's interesting that no one, but we rarely talk about friendship breakups. I hold friendships so dear because I don't have many friends. So whenever I have friends, I hang on to them.
Yeah.
You know,
For dear life.
I'm like, but also because growing up, I still am, but I was an introvert. I was like those smart kid introverts. So I did not make a lot of friends. And in fact, people used to unfriend me. And I have kind of a bit of that trauma of my best friend when I was in high school one day just came and told me, I'm no longer your friend. I have new friends and they're cooler than you. And I have never forgotten that. And so
Kids are mean.
right?
mean.
Kids are just something else.
I should say mean, or they just speak their mind.
They just speak their mind
Without
and
filters,
then in a mean way.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to make friends. But so when I make friends, when I find people I vibe with, I try to keep them.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I always overthink it so that I'm not also overwhelming with my can we hang out? Or, come over. Or can I come over? Can we do this? Can our kids do something? When I have friendship breakups, which I have had, it's a bit tough. It's one of those things you're like, okay, I'm scarred. I don't think I'm going to be able to make, new friends. And especially as a mom, sometimes those breakups come in a silent way. Unlike romantic relationships where you're like, you did not respond to my text.
And you have a conversation about
I saw you
it.
texting somebody else. Or, you're not good for me in this way. In most cases, friendships do not have those hang-ups, in the sense that you can be friends with someone who's broker than you or who's wealthier than you.
Yeah.
In romantic relationships, sometimes there's do they make enough money? Are they in the right career? Friendships, you can be a scientist and friends with an artist. Yeah. So sometimes you don't have that. But then they don't come with the definition of how do you break up. Or how do you define breakups? And when you break up with a friend, it's so heartbreaking, and you tell someone I broke up with Washuka. They're like, were you guys in a relationship? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is you breaking up with Washuka mean? So yeah, and in motherhood, unfortunately, sometimes it's the silence of, Washuka now has babies and I don't have babies. So we have nothing in common. Or we both have children and we're busy people, and then you just drift away. But that's the time you actually need each other. I've had a friend say, I think you need to find more mom friends and I should find more child-free friends.
Okay.
And I was
That's
like,
single.
what? I mean, I can have conversations that have nothing to do with children.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where you're like, friendships are just so intense. What
Yeah.
about you? Have you had breakups?
Oh, absolutely. And it was really painful. Because I think with friendship breakups, it's you don't envision an end. You always think that this person will always be in your life for forever.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So when it happens, it catches you so off guard, like a rug has been pulled under your feet. Like I've experienced a friendship breakup. These are people who I genuinely thought we'd be in each other's lives for forever, literally. Like I remember one of the friends that we were with, she said, but then you guys, if you're forever in my life, but to ever break up, I'd rather kill you.
Yeah.
Jokingly.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of vulnerability that we shared and the secrets that we had of each other. Like, there's nowhere you're going.
Yeah.
So I genuinely thought we would still be friends to date, but a few years back, I think it's been 2 years now, just after we got married, everyone just went silent. Everyone just went silent on me, and I'm like,
what's going on?
What's happening?
Yeah.
I didn't ask. Maybe possibly there's some pride element in there, or like what happened. I remember we tried to rekindle with some of the girls in the friendship, but just
Were
didn't
these
work.
friendships from high school, from uni, from like
It was a mix
neighborhood?
of both. It was a mix of both.
Uh-huh.
So we were a girl group. I think, and I really struggle with girl groups. I don't even know. Anyway, so there's one who's a childhood friend. Another one we were together in primary school. The other one we just met in our adult life, going about life. And then we all just happened to click. And so we were just all friends. They were my inner circle. And then everyone just goes radio silent.
Yes. They formed a new group.
Yeah, you know what hurts? That year we broke up. In that December, they went out on holiday.
Whoa.
And you just seeing this on social media. I was like, and this is a holiday because we used to go for New Year's together.
Oh, yeah. It was like Washuka is all booed up now.
Yeah.
We don't need
Yeah.
her. She doesn't need us.
Wow. I was like, okay, guys.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's actually. And you bring up an interesting point. I also struggle with girl groups. I struggle with groups generally because of how we think groups should work. I like to say, no matter what the group, you need to have rules of engagement. And one of the rules is what's quorum.
Yeah.
Even in my family, I have 7 siblings. I like whenever some people are like, yeah, so and so is not here, like, what's quorum?
Yeah.
We define it as 2 people. If you and I show up, that's enough.
Yeah.
If other people show up, that's a bonus. And girl groups, sometimes I find it's like, oh, but we are not all available at the same time. So Washuka is booed up. She's not going to be as available.
Yeah.
So we'd rather remove her and have 100% attendance rather than we try to, our lives revolve around Washuka and her husband's availability, for us.
I think also another thing I used to struggle with is who do I tell certain things? Because even in a girl group, yes, you're all friends, but there's some level of closeness that you have with others that you don't have with the other person.
Yeah.
So you're like,
you can't just post it
who
in
do
the
I
group.
who do I tell this? And then what if it spills and you're hanging out? And then it's like, oh, I didn't know. I thought you were friends with each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, miss me with that drama, man. Miss me with that drama. It was overwhelming, honestly.
That's a lot. What's the one thing that you enjoyed about friendships, about your friends, or the friends that you have now, even those that you've lost? But what do you enjoy the most about that?
I value quality over quantity now. Because I don't have that much time anyway. So the time we meet, it needs to be depth of conversation.
Yeah.
It has to be quality time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that we are spending time every single weekend, every single day, or we are talking.
We're in each other's house. We're in each other's business all the time.
Yeah, we're all a bit in a life state that we're all busy. So
Yeah.
I value that a lot. But I'll be honest, after that breakup, I struggle so much with being vulnerable now with friends.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you can actually walk away.
You can have all this information about me.
You can actually
And then you
walk
just-
away from me. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So yeah. And you, how about you?
I think for me it is knowing that there is someone that you can call on when you need something. You know, sometimes I like to say there are things. I remember when I was dating my husband, I told him something and he said, "No, I'm not your girlfriend," you know. And he was trying to kind of create that boundary of, I'm not going to be your gossip buddy about this. And for me, it made it so clear that to what you're saying, there are people you can tell things. And it also taught me to create those boundaries of, there are things I tell my husband, there are things I tell my friends, there are things I tell my sisters, there are things I tell my... You know, you have to put that in that category. And I know, like, there are people who gossip, like their husbands are their gossip buddies. There are things I cannot tell him.
Yeah.
And there are things I tell my, like, girlfriends. There are things I tell, like, different people here and there. So for me, it is...
Just a friend.
Yeah, I'm intentionally now seeking friendships. But as you said, like, friendships of, let's take care of each other and knowing about each other, like each other's well-being, and not each other's like secrets or each other's like deep things, but it's more like, you know, is she okay? How's your family? How are your parents? You said they were unwell, you know, kind of thing. Where are we with that? You know, you said work was working. How's it going? But that's the extent of it. Yeah, not like last night, my husband and I.
We did this and that.
He
I
said
consider
this,
these
can
friends
you
of
believe
mine,
it?
They knew a bit too much about my problems in my marriage. I'm like, I need to shoot you. Like,
You know, like one thing I was thinking about, and I had this in a podcast. The things that you tell different people. So there are things I tell him. They're both like administrative, kids, this and that. They're fun, like, let me tell you what I had. But then there's levels to that. And the things that I tell my friends. And one thing that I do with friendships, I like to define friendships. I'm one of those people who, like, all my friends actually, or the people I call my friends now, I will ask you, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I as your friend? And it's okay for me to be number 10.
yeah.
And I will play the best number 10 you will ever find.
Yeah.
Because I've also been in situations where people tell you things that are best friend worthy, but then to them you're a friend. And so you play number 1, while to them you're number 6.
Yeah.
And then you get heartbroken because you're pouring more than you should,
yeah.
given the level of friendship. So for me, with all my friendships, I like to define them and say, you know, hey, I know, you know, we've been chatting and talking and stuff, but I like to do this just so I know what my limits and boundaries are, so that we're not getting to a point where we've been pouring into each other and then you stop talking to me, but to you that's not a big deal, and to me that's a huge deal. But lastly on that is, I like it when friendships have boundaries and kind of rules and regulations, because then, you know, for me, I'm not the kind of person who is like, you know, there are people who say, I can go for a year without seeing my friend, but when I see them, it's like it's like nothing stopped. It's like we just met yesterday.
What? Okay.
And I'm like, in a year, there's so much that could happen.
Yeah.
Like, parents could die, children could die, you could lose a job, you could get a promotion, you could move countries. So if we meet if we talk once a year and we're okay with that, I'm like, so what are we catching up on? Like, you know, you meet your watchman way more. You can't avoid that. So for me, like, I'm an intense friend in the sense that I like to be not necessarily in constant every minute communication, but I like to be in touch with my friends
Yeah.
more often.
At least just knowing what's going on in their lives.
Exactly.
I get that,
At least
yeah.
once a week. Like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? How's the going?
Yeah.
How's the day and stuff? Not necessarily let's meet every week, but
Yeah.
at least in a week let's
There's a
have a
WhatsApp
touch
chat.
point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. Do you have a friend who you've been friends for a really long time?
Yes, I have a friend who I've been friends with for a really long time.
From when?
For maybe I would say about 14 years. That's the longest friendship
Okay.
I have. Again, remember I said that in high school and primary school, people
Someone broke up with you.
people did not want to be my friends, and the longest friendship I had broke up with me, so
Yeah.
I had to start afresh.
Yeah.
But then the intensity, I'll qualify that with the intensity of this 14-year friendship recently got downgraded a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's the longest friendship I've had. Yeah.
You know, I always wonder how comes we're not able to keep friendships. Because, for instance, my dad especially, has had a friend since he was 20 years.
Wow.
To date, they are still friends. Friends of, we talk every day.
That is so interesting.
To date. And
Has he
he's
written a
in
book?
60s, in his 60s. So they've been friends for over 40 years.
A guide to friendship.
For real.
That
I'm
is,
like,
yeah.
why
That's
don't you
enviable.
have that anymore?
Yeah, what's your longest running friendship?
From high school. From high school. Gosh. How many years are those? I'd say more than 10 years. Wow, I'm doing well.
You're doing very well. Your father would be rolling his eyes like, look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel motherhood has changed your friendship?
It definitely
And how
has.
has that
Yeah, it definitely has. For me, there's that expectation that when you're a mom, people say your kids go to school, you make friends in school. None of my kids' friends' parents, from school at least, are my friends. We meet at different events, school events, but then it's hi, nothing deeper. But it could also be me, but because I have seen that others are friendlier
yeah.
and stuff than like I have maybe developed. Maybe I need to be intentional with that. Motherhood has changed friendship for me because there are friendships that have fallen by the wayside because you're now a mom, I'm not a mom, or we are both moms and we're too busy for each other, kind of situation. But motherhood has also made me crave a lot more for friendships. So I have, there was a time I even, my background is computer science, so I wanted to develop an application like a Tinder for moms.
Oh,
I
make
did.
friends.
I came up with a whole concept and stuff. And I was like, what are you doing, Leonard? Like, what's going on here? To make friends, because I was like, there's community. For me, I crave community. Maybe because I grew up in the village and I saw how my mom's friends, my cousin's friends, the people around, people showing up to your house and stuff. And I really wish I had a lot more of that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yes. Yeah, motherhood has changed my friendships in that you see the mental load that comes with motherhood, right? My capacity for friendships has somehow reduced. Yeah. So I'm looking for friendships or rather I tend towards friendships that don't require so much emotional labor, if I may call it, emotional burden on me. Because it just starts feeling so heavy.
Yeah.
I'm actually to a point where I'm like, if I genuinely feel I don't have capacity to if you have a problem and I don't have capacity to hear the problem because I carry things so heavily.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, just hold on. I'll reach out to you when I have capacity because I also don't want to carry so much heaviness. Yeah.
And that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So I also like low maintenance friendships.
Yeah. I hear you there.
Right?
Yes.
What else do I enjoy? What else? friends that understand the dynamics of being a mother.
And where you
could
are
make
at any
plans.
given
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Like you could make plans, and if I cancel on you because of one thing or another, please understand.
Oh, the number of times I've used my kids as a crutch
Yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because sometimes you also, I've realized as women, as mothers, sometimes you overgive yourself. And then it's like kesi badai, you know, I'll do all of this at night. I'll struggle with the guilt by myself. I'll struggle with I did not do enough for others and stuff. And that is setting boundaries, which is actually quite healthy, you know, being able to say, I know we have made these plans for a long time, but today, you know, this is what's going on. And friendships that understand that, you know, that understand that, okay, you know, you're also pouring into yourself. You're trying to get your energies back. You're trying to do that. So not for this, you know, has to be the case every single time, but being able to make those definitions and have understanding friends as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've actually experienced, like, there's this friend of mine where we've kind of, I wouldn't say break up because when we meet up we'll talk, but what did you call it?
You've downgraded.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Kind of, because genuinely sometimes someone may send you a chat and you forget.
Yes.
You forget you had a WhatsApp chat or you're having a conversation because, you know, maybe your kid has done something, you need to correct that. So when you come out of that chat, you'll totally forget what you guys...
Neuroplasticity.
Exactly. But this friend of mine would really get offended when I don't respond. And I'm looking 1 week later, I'm like, oh, damn. I didn't reply to that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, she's not going to be happy with me. So we've kind of downgraded that friendship and you are very close. So just having an understanding that, you know, motherhood, there's a lot of...
I've been in that situation.
Burden.
That
like,
exact
please understand.
situation.
In fact, you reminded me there's a voice note I need to listen.
Look at you, remembering all the messages. So, friends, Oposhuka, if she's not responded to a message,
please understand. Genuinely.
Yeah. Now, I've been in that situation where maybe you respond to something the next day and then you're accused of like ignoring things. You're accused of like maybe not being as invested. And you're like, it was a day. There's chances that I might have been, you know, dealing with something. So one thing that I do now with friendships is I'll take calls when I'm driving. I'll take calls when I'm out of the house.
Yeah.
But as soon as I arrive and pack, and if I see my kids, I'll let you know. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't attempt to communicate with people, friends or even work generally, when I'm around my kids, so that I also draw those boundaries of saying, if I respond to you tomorrow, just know I was with my children. And because even the kids, like I've been in a situation where my kids are like, Mama, you're working too hard, or you're not, you're not giving us your full attention. But your friends are also telling you this. So for me, it's also now just to those who can understand, and in this case, it's the adults who are the friends, is to say, I've gotten home, I'm going to spend time with the kids, I will speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Or
I've seen this, but I'll respond tomorrow, because then, you know, that communication is also there in terms of, you know, what's going on and what's expected.
Yeah. I also feel motherhood has changed my sharpness towards emotional alignment with people. I've had instances where I meet up with someone and I genuinely feel happier coming out of that interaction.
Yes.
And those are the kind of interactions that I love in this season of life. Like, if I'm going to meet you and you drain me, that would be the last
red flags.
Time. Yeah. But friendships that are filling my cup,
I think
those ones go such a long way.
I love that because these are friendships. As I mentioned, now I'm getting a bit more intentional about building friendships.
Yeah.
So meeting, like, be it professional colleagues and saying, hey, why don't we, you know, just have a coffee and just catch up. I've gotten into the habit actually this year, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I'm not no one has told me that I have an approachable face, but I know that I do. So I've made it a point to like people that I work with. So if I've worked with you for a while and I vibe with you, like when we meet at a meeting, we're like, hey, how are you? And then like, okay, we're starting a meeting. I sometimes just call people randomly. I'm like, hi, Washuka, how are you? And you can hear there's that anticipation of, is there an email I missed? Is there? I'm like, no, I'm just calling to say hi, just checking in on you. How are you doing? Is everything okay? How's your family? Okay, cool. See you, or let's catch lunch or coffee. Sometime.
Yeah.
Kind of just being intentional about, because sometimes you call, like I've called 2 people this year who, when I made it clear that this was not about work and just like, how are you? How's family? And then someone said, yeah, I just lost my grandmother, or my mom just got diagnosed with cancer. And those are things people carry, but we go into meetings and we're yappy and we're chatty and no one knows about.
Because you're told to leave your personal stuff at home.
Exactly.
What
exactly.
do you mean?
So for me, I've also been intentional about identifying like people. I'm like, yeah, like whenever I meet them in a professional setting, like I vibe with them, and kind of trying to pull them back out into like my personal to say, hey, let's just have coffee. Like, let me get to know a little bit about you and stuff. And I'm really enjoying doing that and just getting to know new people, both men and women, in their like capacity as like, oh, you're a husband, you have kids, tell me about your kids and stuff. And it's really, it fills my cup. It fills my cup. Yeah.
I've realized how I make friends these days has changed as well. It's so strange. Like, I'm finding myself, I'm connecting with people that I was friends with a long time ago, or I could never have thought we would ever be friends. Even meeting friends on social media, and actually genuinely having a good friendship. Yeah. It's interesting, and that has been brought about by the fact that we both have kids. Like, we have a lived shared experience.
Yes.
So we just are able to connect on that level,
Yeah.
I'm finding myself gravitating towards people that I grew up with.
It's like going back to the basics.
Exactly, going back to the basics. And also just finding friends in the state of life I'm in. For instance, this podcast, you could say this is a friendship that we've gotten professionally.
Yes.
So yeah, motherhood changes quite a bit when it comes to friendship.
Do you find that you make friends differently now, in the sense that you tend to make friends with or gravitate towards people who are mothers, or gravitate towards people who are like, nah, I like their vibe, I don't care whether they're mother or not?
Gravitate towards mothers. For sure. And bias.
And I think for me that was the excitement about meeting you.
Yeah.
I was like, she's a mom.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, the same. Sometimes you don't have control over it, but I tend to have my guard up when it's not a mother, because I also know just what you said. I don't want to be emotionally draining. I don't want to be overwhelming with my kid did this or my kid did that. So I do tend to gravitate more towards mothers. Yeah. Like, you would be somewhere and you're like, oh, she's a mom, I think we will get along. Yeah. You're just seeing a mom in a supermarket and you want to be like, hi, I'm a fellow mother. I know I probably don't have my children here, but can we be friends? I have proof that you have you're a mom. But anyway, so for me, it's also been that, but also dads, interestingly, especially for the people in the professional setting, because there's a part of it that is like, I sometimes want to understand parenting from the other side as well. So if like I meet someone and they're interesting, or they have older children, for example, I'm like, I would like to also see this from the perspective of raising children from an older kind of person's perspective. But it's interesting. Interesting. I have an interesting question, or a question that I think is interesting. Growing up, our parents, or at least my parents, sometimes wanted to dictate how I, as their child, made friends.
Okay.
Do you ever have a thing about like your children's friends?
At this stage, not yet, because most of his friends are people.
By his, you mean your firstborn?
Yeah, my firstborn.
Son.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
my firstborn son. Most of his friends are in the estate, so I really can't control who he interacts with. I find that I'm not able to control that at the moment. But of course, when he starts going to school, there's going to be some level of control. But at home in the estate, I can't say, Leanne, don't hang out with this person. He doesn't even understand what that is. What do you mean I don't hang out with them? You know? So right now, we just go with the flow. I'm glad that there's kids in the estate.
Yes.
And
Then
he
he's
learns
able
what
to
he
play.
learns.
Yeah.
What he picks. What we need to correct, we correct. And we move.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, no, I have found myself in that situation where I'm thinking like, will this be a good friend to my daughter? Especially with like, sometimes kids, you know, they have the best intentions and then some kids are bullies. So we've talked about, because I was bullied when I was young. So I'm maybe hyper aware about that and about like, what if someone bullies her? What if she comes with good intentions and then her friend is a bully, for example? And interestingly, like even in the estates, there are kids that my oldest is friends with and my youngest will not vibe with. You know, they're like, oh, no, that one I don't get along with. This one I get along with and stuff. And it's just interesting, like seeing that difference. But also, like, I also understand, like, my role as a parent in not necessarily dictating, but guiding who their friends are. Especially now, like, you're an adult and you've seen what an association to someone can do. I like to give examples of like someone like Jeffrey Epstein, very extreme case. But then there are people who've lost their careers because they were in a picture with him. Whether or not they're innocent or guilty of the offense, that's a different question. But because of the proximity to a person, your entire life is changed. So I've been a bit more aware about something like that. And I remember my parents used to be like, I do not want to see you with so-and-so's child and stuff. Sometimes it's because of the child and their behavior. And sometimes it's because of the child's parents and like what they do and stuff, like maybe they're fraudulent or they're things. So I've found myself, interestingly, like thinking about my kids' friends and also being like, oh, you know, what do you know about your friend? And are they kind to you? So, you know, when I pick them up from school, I'd ask, you know, who did you play with today? You know, were they kind? Were you kind to them? You know, is there someone who's not being nice? Also because one time, my child's best friend scratched her. And when she told me, I did not believe it because I was like, that's the sweetest kid in class. What do you mean she scratched? And I did not believe it at all. So I asked her several times, so who scratched you? She told me. What happened? She told me. And I'd leave it, we talk about something else, and then I'd ask again. And then later the nanny told me the same exact story. And then when I asked the teacher the next day, the teacher was like, yeah, they got into it a bit. You know, this kid came, she was a bit annoyed about something that happened at home and, you know, she scratched her. And I was like, interesting. And we had to go through that moment of, do you tell her she can't be friends with this kid anymore? Do you tell her this? And we just left it. Later on, you know, like a week later, I said, so who's your best friend in class now? She still said it's that person. And I said, is she nice to you now? And like, yeah, she apologized and we're fine. It's okay, Mama, I forgive her. And I was like, okay. And that has not happened again until date, 5-year-olds. They're still, you know, best friends. So for me, it's, as a parent, I feel like I have a role to play in guiding my kid. I'm trying very much not to dictate it. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. You know, I'm just, as you're speaking, I'm trying to reflect a point where my parents were keeping track of my friends, and I don't think they ever did. I don't remember saying, don't hang out with this person. Like, there was never that oversight of friends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think it's something that, it's something that I'll definitely do with my kids.
Because now I look back at the people that I was told not to hang out with. I hate to say it, my
Your parents were right.
Yeah, they were
But at
right.
the time, you were like,
No, that's my best friend. You know, that's do you want me to just be alone? I know my kids throw a tantrum. Sometimes I'm like, they ask, can we go to so-and-so's house? I'm like, no. And they're like, but you want us to be alone and we have no friends to play with. I'm like, you have each other. So I had two, you know, play with each other. Has the way that you interact with your friends changed in the sense that were you a night person, now you're a day person, or you a day person, now you prefer nights? Like, how do you interact with your friends?
In this current season, I mean, come to my house.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
For real. Because
yes.
I still have a young baby,
Yes,
so it's just more
yes.
comfortable for me, for us to meet at my place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not able to leave him, so I can't meet up.
And no
outside.
matter where you go, you have to go with him.
Exactly. So, and it's a lot going to the restaurant with
Yeah.
child, so
Yeah.
no. So yeah, please come to my house. Yeah, that's actually whenever anyone is asking, can we meet? I'm like, yeah,
Let's
can
do
you come
it.
to my house?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't,
yeah.
well and good.
Yeah.
If not, can wait for a bit.
No, that's definitely an interesting. For me, I used to be open to evening meetings. This is, I'm like, let's do lunch. Let's do breakfast when it's not rushed. I'm not trying to rush back.
Yeah.
Let's do a very early evening.
Yeah.
Like a 4 p.m.
I think, so when I had my group of friends that we broke up with, I think the reason why I really loved them is because our friendship was so diverse. We would meet breakfast, lunch, dinner, go out, spud. Like, it was so diverse.
Yeah.
Even church, like they were friends for everything. So when they went, it left me so destabilized. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Who am I
Wow.
going to go to the spa with?
Yeah, so I'm genuinely looking for friends. If you want to be my friend, you can call me.
I'll put in an application. I hope it will be considered. And I have a question on that, actually. Yeah. If your friends came back, would you take them back?
Ish.
If they came back as a group and say, Washuka,
I have thought about it.
We've missed you.
And I'm not sure. I think I'll just wait and see how I feel at that point in time. But one thing I know for sure is we can never go back to where we were before.
Yeah.
I could never open up and be vulnerable like I was before.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be those boundaries. I feel like there'd be more of acquaintances than friends.
Like deep friends. Yeah.
And yeah, they might come back and we talk things out. I've had such an instance where we fell out with a friend, this long-term friend. We fell out with a friend and we're still friends. We became friends. Like, we talked about it, we hashed things out because she was going through a really difficult time at the time and she felt I wasn't there for her. So we talked things out and we repaired things. So now we're working on our friendship a lot more. So with them, I don't know, Lynette, man. I don't know. Because 2 years have passed. Life has happened. They've shared experiences that I never did experience with them, And there's going to be inside jokes that I don't relate with. I've also had great milestones that they've not been part of. So life has really moved. And I'm not sure if I'm thinking it's moved way too much that we may not be
to catch up.
To rekindle that, but I'm open. Let's see if it ever happens. That is, yeah.
That's interesting. I as you were speaking, I had actually forgotten about this, and I remembered that there's a friendship that I lost out of being young and stupid young things, and it's the one friendship I actually mourned because I was like. That person was good for me. It's like she's my kind of person. And one day she reached out to me actually, and she said, hey, I just wanted to say hi and find out how you're doing and stuff. And I thought that we could rekindle it. And then we met a couple of times, but it was almost like getting closure of sorts. You know, it was just one of those friendships that was so random, but then we really vibed, and then it just got intense so fast.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you know, so after these meetings, after the breakup, it was just clear that, okay, you know, this will never, just as you say, like, this will never go back. Like, if we run into each other, we'll definitely give each other like a hearty hug, and like, how are the kids? You know, she also has kids now. How's the husband? How's family? You know, but then it will never go back to, you know, girl, let me tell you what happened, you know, kind of thing. And for me, that, I think, that's the one friendship I think I'm sad about that I lost, because it had like great potential. But then I'm also like, life happens. Yeah.
Friendship breakups are really
You
sad.
would think we were talking about like
A romantic.
divorce.
It actually feels like
And we had to split the dogs and the cats and the money.
For real. No,
It's
hard.
interesting that we, like, friendships, you can't go to court and say, I want the toaster and I want the cat and the dog was mine and let's have custody of the children. But they cut so deep. You know, even now, like, thinking about these friendships, I'm like, yo, I'm actually sad.
Yeah.
I'm actually sad. I lost my friends.
Yeah.
You know, those were good people.
I know.
Yeah.
It hurts. So let me ask you a question as we are wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of friend do you want to be moving forward?
I want to be an intentional friend. In fact, over the weekend, I met with a group of new friends. So it was like this intentional. Someone was like, interestingly, someone I met professionally, met him twice. And he gathered like people he thinks could be good friends, put us in a group, and we decided to meet.
So how are you going to cope with that?
And let me
Given
tell
that
you,
don't
like,
groups?
sorry?
Given that you don't like groups, how are you going to cope
No.
with that?
Like, with this one, we are clear it's a group friendship. Nothing has come out of it of, I can ask this person, like, hey, can we have dinner, or can we have lunch, or can we have coffee? But so far, like, I hang out with these people, and time for me to leave, I was like, why didn't I ask the nanny to stay till tomorrow? Because, you know, and so it was 8:30, and I was like, I really have to go and release the nanny. But for me, it's, and I remember, like, one thing I told them is, when you're younger, you become friends with people and that's it. Like, you're friends. You don't quite define the rules very much. Me, rule-based. And I said, the thing about being an adult is you can define the rules of engagement. And for me, it was like, we're friends who look out for each other. And we must not be in each other's business. But, you know, if anyone needed like a shoulder to lean on, like knowing that we have each other for that. So the kind of friend I am, or I want to be, is an intentional friend. Like you, I don't want to be overbearing on anyone. It's hard to say I don't want anyone to be overbearing on me, but then that I can communicate when, you know, I need space or distance, or if it's not working out. Yeah. But I would love to have more friends.
Yeah.
I would love to have more friends. Especially mommy friends, and it doesn't have to be about the children. It can be about us as women. I love for people to come over to my house. I love going to people's, you know, houses on invitation, and just finding like something that works. In this phase of life that we're in. What about you?
What kind of friend do I want to be? I think just like you, I want to be intentional. One thing that I'm learning in my big age that I didn't know before is friends are human too.
Yes.
Love languages apply to them as well. And things just don't happen magically. You have to put in work. Because before I used to be like, hey, you're not my boyfriend, you're not my husband.
Yeah.
Please, why am I putting so much
Exactly.
effort?
Why am I
Come
buying you
on.
gifts?
Hey, for what?
Yeah.
But now I'm learning that to sustain a friendship, you also need to fill the other person's cup. You also need to be very intentional. So I want to be that intentional friend. I actually crave closeness. that that vulnerability that you have with someone, that you can even share things as you're going through them.
Yes.
You can share your thoughts.
Yes.
Because at this point you just do your thing and then you come and report as friendship. What happened, etc. So I really crave that kind of Jonathan and David kind of friendship, that deep friendship. Yeah. But I desire to be an intentional friend.
I think for me, and I love what you've said, and these days I find myself like I crave closeness, and I crave, like, I'm a giver.
Yeah.
Like, I crave giving and thinking about someone else who's not like my family.
Yeah.
But being, I tend to travel a bit, and I used to be like, what would this person like? I'll get them this thing, and I'll get them. There's a friend who we used to do fridge magnets. It's like wherever I go, I'm gonna buy a magnet, and I'm gonna find like a quirky, cute one for them.
Yeah.
And I miss that. I miss being able to show up and like showing up with flowers. Just because, showing up with, like, if I come to your house, I'm gonna come with shopping and stuff. Like, I miss doing something for other people, like thinking about someone else in that way. And I would like to have that. I would like to have that. Not with expectation of like, oh, but you came to me and you did not bring me flowers, but because that's who I am. I miss like expressing who I am to someone who's not my family, because family is kind of expected. But there's also that fear of like, as an adult, you always think about things in return on investment, and you're like, but I'm gonna do this, and then one day she's gonna walk away and she's gonna break my heart, and
it's true.
So
yeah. I remember with my first kid, I was just thinking to myself, gosh, now these friends of mine, we're no longer friends. Wow, who's gonna throw me a baby shower? My sister stepped in. So family has become really close to me.
Yeah.
So my sister stepped in. Let me tell you, there's friends for throwing bash. Lots of friends. A party. But those ones close to your heart, hey.
I think for me, it's interesting because I have many sisters and lots of cousins.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that worried, because I don't have many girlfriends. Like, who's gonna throw me a baby shower? And let me tell you, my first baby shower, dress code and all, it was the bomb. Like, I thought you need like girlfriends, but I had an amazing, like, sometimes I look at those pictures and I'm like, this was, and even for the second one, like, luckily I have many girl cousins and sisters.
Yeah.
But there's also always that part of like, but my sisters show up with their friends, and I'm like, look at that.
So what happened for me now with Luca, my second born, luckily, I think things just align. God just aligned things for you. So a group of friends that came. So this group, my parents, couples doing their own thing. Then now us kids have formed our own group, and now we also have a ladies group. We also have a ladies group where we support each other in such things, so baby showers, if there's bereavement, those kind of things. So those are the guys that now came through for me, and they actually planned my second baby shower, since my sister is not also in the country.
Oh, nice.
So I think things just work out in the end.
I think on that baby shower,
that community,
topic, sometimes I get afraid, because I'm like there are people you think you're friends, and then you don't get invited to their events.
Yeah.
And I have one such case, like, of a recent, like, you can tell, like, oh yeah, they look like they're planning a baby shower, but then no one reaches out to be like, hey, even because sometimes, like, when it's your baby shower, you'll tell your sister or your other friend, like, hey, make sure you invite so and so, and then, but you're not invited to those things, and then you're like, maybe this should actually be another episode because we're running out of time. But it's sort of those, you're like, hey, I thought we were
friends for inviting me.
Yeah, I thought we were friendly, but I guess not. And you're like, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That was a nice episode. It was
right.
reflect.
So wherever you are, be kind to your friends.
Yeah.
And if you want to be friends, reach out to us.
For real.
Maybe we should
actually throw a meetup for moms.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Next year's plan. We should do that.
If you hear this podcast, DM us and tell us if you would like to be part of the...
I went for one for such a thing.
Let's do
weekends ago.
that.
It was
Let's
really
actually
nice.
do that.
We should.
So 2026, we are throwing a meetup where it could be our in-person Tinder for moms. I don't know if Tinder is the right word, but our in-person meetup for moms where you can make new friends. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Could be good.
Who are in your season?
Who are in your season? Who are in your phase? Yeah.
We can wrap up and go to unpopular opinions.
Yes, unpopular opinion. Well, I think we should be kinder to moms, just generally. I feel like I've said this before, but there's a way this world is moving, especially towards moms. And the culture is really eroding in terms of how we revered like mothers and how we held them so dearly and supported them. And I've seen just too many cases where like moms are left to be, and I guess this is also in theme with what we were discussing today. My unpopular opinion is we need to be better to mothers. Like mothers are just going through a lot, generally. Even older mothers. Now I'm going to make this long. I was talking to my mom yesterday. She sent me some food from Nyamira, from her farm. And she said, like, I'm her last born and I'm 37. And she said, I feel so proud anytime I'm able to send you guys food because you're my children. And I'm like, motherhood doesn't stop.
It doesn't
because
stop.
Your children have means.
Yes.
It's like my mother is somewhere thinking, what will my child eat today?
Yeah.
So let's be kind to mothers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
To strange mothers, to your mothers, to friend mothers, to all mothers. What's your unpopular opinion?
Now that I'm in the toddler stage, first son, my unpopular opinion is that toddlers are not misbehaving. They're just dysregulated.
There you go.
And in fact, the adults are the ones who are not regulated.
It's the adults misbehaving.
Yes.
By having too many expectations.
Exactly.
On 2-year-olds.
Yeah. What do they know?
Mama and Baba.
Exactly.
Nothing after that.
Yep. That's my unpopular opinion.
I like that.
Let's be kinder to toddlers.
Let's be
grace.
kind to children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Children.
Let's be kind just to children.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Ashika. See
That was
you
a
next
nice
time.
episode.
Loved it. Bye.
Bye, guys.
It's the politics of motherhood.